Welcome guys, in this video we'll talk about statements, blocks, and comments in more detail, and then we'll talk about breakpoints a little too. So crank up Visual Studio, let's make a new project. Console application, leave the settings as they are, click OK. There you go. So remember, I've tried to make this as big as possible so you can see. Alright. Now, first thing is, how do you add multi-line comments? Is that possible? Okay, so imagine you type, this is, this is line 1 of a comment, and now type, this is line 2 of a comment, and now imagine this is line 3 of a comment. And notice, if I highlight all of this and I hit it with that right there, you see that? It's going to comment out the selected lines. Okay, so you can use this to comment out, and if you want, you can highlight one of these lines and then uncomment. It's the same thing, but there's that little arrow icon, correct? There you go. So these are like 3 single line comments. However, these are not the only comments. You can also do it this way. You can type an arrow, this, and now you can say this is line 1 of a multi-line comment, and then you hit enter, and notice it adds a star, and this is line 2 of a multi-line comment, and then hit enter, and this is line 3 of a multi-line comment. You see that? And it will add stars for you. Okay? Like that. Okay? But notice that now everything below it is also greened out, so to close this you're going to do another star and a slash like that, you see? There you go. So this is pretty common. This kind of syntax for single line and multi-line comments is pretty common in most programming languages, relatively modern ones, right? Like the ones especially that derive from C. Okay, or are somehow influenced by C. Alright, so again, remember, right click here and go to organize using, remove unused usings, like this. And notice that now if you type console, you see it's not giving us the usual functionality. So to restore that, just to show you that you can, you're going to come back here and you're going to say using and then system and close with a semicolon. So now if you type console, it's showing back up. You see that? That's a class. Okay, and it says system.console. So because we have using system up top, here we can just type console. Okay? There you go. So we're going to type now, of course, console.writeLine, and this is line 1 to be printed. Close that with a semicolon, and then say console.write like that only, okay? And this is line 2 to be printed. And now let's do one more here, console.writeLine again. This is line 3 to be printed. Close that with a semicolon. There you go. Alright, so now let's talk about debugging a little. First of all, let's give this a build. And here, when you can launch this directly using start. Okay. And notice that the thing appears and then disappears really fast. Okay, or if you want, you can go to debug and start without debugging. Okay. Then it looks like this. And notice the output. You see where it says this is line 1 to be printed, this is line 2 to be printed, and notice that in that case, where it says this is line 3 to be printed, that's been put on the same line as line 2. Okay, so clearly then line, right line adds something that moves you down the line to the next line. Right, on the other hand, doesn't add that. Okay? That's why line 2 to be printed and line 3 to be printed appear on the same horizontal line. Okay, so now you see the difference between the right and the right line. Further, let's use the debugger. Okay, so you're going to go now debug and step into, like that. And notice that this is yellow over here, and that means this code is about to be executed. And then what's on the, you also should see the call stack. Okay, you see where it says this? Okay, program.main, that means it's been loaded into memory for execution. So it's the entry point into the program. You're going to go there, go there, go there, You see, it's stepping through the program line by line, and as this happens, output is being sent to the console window, as you can see here. Okay? And let's pin this to the... And actually, let's execute this, and notice that now that is about to be executed, and the program unloads from memory. There you go. So let's make this the following improvement. Let's type console.read just to keep the window from going away. Or you can use read line or read key for our purposes. That is not important. Okay? It just keeps the window open. That's it. So here what I want you to do now is left click right here, and notice that sets what's known as a breakpoint, a red dot. There you go. And it highlights that line in purple. So now if you go debug and start debugging, okay, you see where it stops. The first line, this is line 1 to be printed, has been printed. But then you see it here says this is where it's about to start executing from here, where I set the breakpoint. You see? There you go. So that's how you can control that. Okay? And from here now you can proceed as before using step into, so you can execute the program line by line. And here it's helpful if you have the console window visible. So let me bring up this. Okay, and now we'll continue as follows. Step into, next line to be printed, next line, and notice that 2 and 3 are on the same line, and now console.read is running, waiting for input. Okay, so enter some letter like Y, hit enter, okay, and then hit step into, and it unloads it from memory. There you go. Okay. Now this here is known as a block of code. Each of these with a semicolon is a statement. Blocks of code are relative, meaning that relative to static void main, this is a block of code, but relative to the class program, this is a block of code, and relative to the namespace, you can describe this as a block of code. And that's it for this one. So thanks very much, guys. I know this is quite a lot of material, but make sure you type the code, run it a few times, make sure you really understand it, use the debugger step into, and you will make solid progress in no time. Thanks very much.